The very mention of assassins made even the bravest men sleep in armor. Kings in the heart of Europe trembled at the name of their leader Hassan ibn Sabah. His mighty hand reached out everywhere. There was not a single fortress, cave or island to which the assassins could not come for their victim. Practically not having their own army, they managed to keep powerful states at bay for as long as 150 years. Let's figure out who the assassins really are. After the death of the Prophet Muhammad, many sects and movements began to appear in the new religion. Muslims who believed that after the death of Muhammad in 632, Abu Bakr became the legitimate caliph, were considered Sunnis. And those who believed that the son-in-law and cousin of the Prophet, Ali, is the legitimate caliph, and the successor of the Prophet Muhammad, became Shiites. One of the trends of Shiism has become Ismailism. It was founded by relatives of the Prophet, Ismail, the son of the sixth Shiite Imam, Jafar al-Siddiq, took an extremely aggressive position against the Sunni caliphs, but he died in 760. His adherents did not believe in his death and began to believe that he had become a hidden imam whom God himself hides. At the beginning of the second half of the 11th century, Hassan ibn Sabah joined the Ismailis. He studied at a madrasa in the northern Iranian city of Riyadh, then in Cairo, where the Ismailis had more freedom. After a few years of gathering sectarian wisdom, he returned to Isfahan. It was the capital of the Seljuk Sultanate. For 9 years he has been promoting his version of religion. He gathered supporters to bring down the Abbasid Caliphate, which was completely controlled by the Seljuk Turks. He believed that it is impossible to know God with your own mind. Only an imam can teach true faith, and the real imam Ismail is hidden, communicates only with Hassan. That is, only Hassan ibn Sabah can teach the only correct faith. The heretic was ordered to be arrested and brought to the court of the Vizier Nizam al-Mulk. Hassan became a fugitive from the law, but in order to lay low, he captured the mountain fortress of Elamet without a drop of blood in 1090, convincing most of the inhabitants to the Ismaili creed. The fortress was located in a very inaccessible place in the mountains. Therefore, it was not so easy to wipe out this small sect from the face of the earth. Sultan Malik Shah, alarmed by the sudden appearance of a rebellious fortress, sent troops under the command of the Vizier Nizam al-Mulk against the Ismailis. When the Seljuks approached Elamet, only 70 people guarded the fortress, but the siege ended in failure. The fortress was impregnable. A few months later, the Sultan sent a large number of troops to the fortress. However, it was defeated by the Ismaili militia assembled from the surrounding towns. In general, the Sultan could not take Elamet in any way. The Sultan began to repress supporters of Ismailism everywhere in all corners of the empire. The Sunnis started calling them a group obsessed with devil who used drugs, the pathetic people of Hashishin. This is the original name of assassins. So gradually this word became synonymous with hidden killers. Nizam al-Mulk personally executed one of the Ismailis. The Ismailis in Elamet began to prepare for revenge. Hassan ibn Sabah chose a volunteer, a young Beta-Hira Arani. On October 14, 1092, Beta-Hira was able to enter the palace. After Nizam al-Mulk left the room where he received his guests and went to his harem, the killer was waiting for him in the hallway and rushed at him and struck many blows and shouted, "This is the verdict of Hassan ibn Sabah!" The enraged Malik Shah ordered the Elamet to be wiped off the face of the earth. He began to gather huge troops. In a direct collision, Hassan would not have had a chance, and he thought of just killing the Sultan. Just a month after the murder of the Vizier Nizam, Hassan ibn Sabah was able to kill the Sultan. Word of this murder spread quickly and everyone was terrified and shocked. Hassan ibn Sabah firmly decided to engage in secret murders and began to gather a whole squad of professional killers, murderers from whom it is impossible to hide behind the fortress walls, from which loyal guards and even a huge army could not save. assassins who will take the lives of generals and empires of sultans with a direct strike. So the Order of Assassins was born, and Hassan ibn Sabah became its leader. It was from this moment that the history of the assassins began. To get into the order, applicants were selected very carefully. The applicants had to pass very difficult tests. Out of 500 applicants, only 510 people got into the order. The method of selecting the lowest level of assassins was to make applicants wait at the gates of the fortress. They could sit there for several weeks. All this time, the young men were subjected to humiliation and even beatings. Thus, the most impatient and insecure were eliminated. After the applicant passed the tests, he was taught secret skills and knowledge, and there was no turning back. Those who caused uncertainty and betrayed were killed immediately. Assassins were taught from acting to martial arts, because in order to kill a victim, they had to wait for years and had to pretend to be merchants, monks, healers, and guards. During the rise of the assassin's power, 6 viziers, 3 caliphs, dozens of rulers of regions and cities, many rulers of Muslim communities, as well as 2 rulers of the Crusader states died at their hands. The assassins, having reached the goal and killed the victim, often did not even try to escape from the scene of the crime, and met death with a smile on their face. Perhaps that was what scared their enemies the most. Even at the stages of preparation, the future assassin was pumped with opium and then sent to a beautiful garden. When he woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. Girls comparable to paradise houris circled around him and watered and caressed him. The cadet was again drugged with opium and sent to the barracks, where he woke up with a deep conviction that he had been to paradise. After that, Hassan came up to them and said that, in order to get to heaven, you need to please him and fulfill his every order. The only more or less serious way to secure yourself was to secretly bribe Hassan. The actual system of such a request has developed. The rulers paid huge amounts of money to illegal organizations in order not to wake up with a dagger in their chest. Thus, the state became stronger, and by the middle of the 12th century, according to some estimates, up to 300 fortresses were in their possession. And finally, rumors about the assassins reached Europe when they killed Conrad of Montferrat. Despite the fact that he was a contender to the throne of the King of Jerusalem and had a huge army, it did not save him. For his murder, the assassin accepted Christianity and prayed with the Crusaders, and at the right moment plunged a dagger into Conrad's chest. Thus they kept the West and the East at bay for almost 150 years. Only the descendants of Genghis Khan managed to destroy the assassins. Hulagu, the son of Genghis Khan, invited all the rulers of the Ismaili fortresses to capitulate or die. The last successor of Hassan ibn Sabah tried to kill the Khan, but after several unsuccessful attempts, he gave up, and the Mongols took the impregnable fortress of Alamatin for days. Along with this, the state of the assassins fell. Please don't forget to support my channel with a subscription, and like my video.